Hey guys, Dale Walker at Holeshot. How you doing today? Well, I've decided to try to mount up my Sport Touring Holeshot handlebars. They are 7/8. They're a thicker wall 7/8. We'll take my little clamshell spacers, and they look like they're gonna reach. These are my own bend. They are really sweet, and they've got more of a sweep, and they're about the same height. So I think the cables are going to reach, so I thought I would just kind of make a little video here of what we're doing, and maybe the steps along the way. We'll see how it goes. These are wide. My clamps, I'll put them flush on the outside, and there'll be a gap inside here, but you'll still get, you know, a good clamping area. There will be a hole on this side, but this is just to try it out. But these bars are freaking awesome. They got a nice sweep to them. They're bitching. They're kind of based off the 1980s real super bikes. Let me hold them up here real quick, real easy. Hey Kurt, maybe you can come and hold that for me. Let me see if friend Kurt can hold the end. We'll have a towel on it. Come down here, and what we'll do is we'll set them up on here, Kurt, just without setting it on there. So we got it pretty lined up right there, and as you can see, there's your sweep back instead of such a straight bar that hammers your wrist. Okay guys, I got the bike all bundled up with towels. I didn't want any cleaners getting on anything. So these are heated grips, and you got to be real careful. They're really stiff, and you don't want to ruin the element in there or pop a hole through the grip and destroy it. So I got all the switches off. I mean the switches, the master cylinder unbolts, feeds out. Have the throttle loose. This side you'll take the throttle off, leave the grip on the throttle tube, just loosen it like this. This is what I use, a very thin screwdriver, flat blade. Get it between the grip, and let me tell you, it's twice as tight as a normal grip with a little bit of glue on it, because the heating element's in there. You don't want to destroy the thing. They probably cost a lot. Actually, these grips are large in diameter. I'll never use them. I was thinking of taking them off personally and putting my favorite grips on it. Just not sure what that will do on the, if it'll cause some kind of error code. Anyway, for now I'm gonna save it and use it. Anyway, you get it in here. You can use some soapy water, kind of get it started in there, but that didn't work good enough. I went straight to brake clean. Contact cleaner also works good. And you just have to slowly work your way around. Air didn't budge this grip. I guess you could, but I couldn't make it budge with air. So with this, at least it starts breaking loose the glue. So come in here, I loosen this clutch perch up, I slid it in. Then I was able to get it as far as I could with the little guy. And then all there was about 2 inches, 1.5 inches in the center I couldn't get with the little one. And I have a screwdriver that I tapered down that I use. Get it in there very carefully and work it. Keep spraying your stuff. Don't poke it through. And then it breaks loose, came off. And I was able to get the grip off just barely enough without loosening the bars yet. So now what you got to do is to get this perch off and the throttle off. Instead of taking it all apart and unhooking the cables, go ahead and just loosen your bars and slide one side out at a time. So then we'll have to do kind of reverse order with my bars, because otherwise throttle cables, everything's going to have to be unhooked. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes on my bars, because they're powder coated, I've got to emery cloth this area a few thousandths here. So you always want to slide the throttle on first outside the bike. Maybe snug it, have somebody hold the bars for you, and make sure the throttle snaps back good. Otherwise you got to take a little off this surface. Then we'll get into the little holes in the bars and things, which aren't really needed, to be honest with you. Okay, on to the next step. Okay guys, so these are the split clamps that I machined for my Ninja 1000 handlebar conversion from the fat bar to the 7/8. Again, I use a DOM seamless tube. It's 0.95 wall thickness, so they're real strong. You're not going to get flex thinking you are with a 7/8. But these are my split clamps, and actually they're wide enough where they're going to just hang out a little bit on the inside. The bar width's just going to make it on the tracer here. It should be close, but it should work good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dab of contact cement on these, kind of hold them in place. It makes it a little easier. I have my buddy Kurt helping me. With a helper you can do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do that and start on it. The throttle tube did spin on it nice. Don't have to do anything on this side. The only kicker is, are the cables going to reach? They're only about a 1/4 inch taller, and then they have more sweep, so I think we're going to be in good shape. We'll see if it's successful or not, but if they are, these bars are going to feel so good on there. Okay, actually guys, my little half shell clamps fit in these lower towers really nice, and I used a little plastic hammer and kind of tapped them flush with here. They're just going to stick out this much on the inside, which would be clean. It's okay. And yeah, on the Kawasaki they kind of slide around more and makes it a little more difficult, you know, holding things in place. So you just want this flush here with your halves. Okay, pretty flush. But they might still rotate when you're moving the bars. You have to kind of dink around. Take your time, but mainly you want it flush on both sides here so they look neat here and here. Okay guys, so they're about 13 3/4 from the center of these threads to the end of the bar itself on each side. Mainly you just kind of want to eyeball the radius here and get it close enough, then stick your split clamps on top that your helper holding, and put the caps on. What I'm worried about is if I got enough length right here to put the switches and everything on my bars. The Yamaha bars are slightly longer. See what happens. Here I am. Anyway, so got the clamps in here, just barely a little daylight sticking out the side, just almost flush. And you see the inside, they look real clean. So now, excuse me, lightly snug the front, snug the back, don't tighten them, torque them down yet. I kind of sat on the bike just with the seat on it. Got the bars kind of where I know I like them, so I have stuff to work with. They're snug enough because your split clamp may move. So you're better off just to lightly snug them for now. To get the clutch perch on here, even on the stock bars, I had to tap a screwdriver in between here little by little till it's enough clearance. Same thing here. So now we're going to see if the switch assembly and the grips fit. If there's enough length here. I think they'll just be enough. They are definitely a little shorter. So anyway, let's get on with that and we'll go from there. Hey guys, well, the brake purchase is right into the radius. It's kind of as far as it can go and backed out just a smidgen. The start run switch, I went ahead and ground off the little tip that goes in the bars. You don't need it. Just don't open it up on the radius. Just make it flush, get it close, and then use a little round file real carefully, because my bars are still a little bigger than the switch opening. On the throttle, instead of measuring your stock bars, push it all the way against the switch assembly. Before you do that, you can open this up. You can put a little touch-up paint on the tip, either white or silver. Then you carefully hold it open, push it against there, make sure this is in this natural routing right here. There's a little rubber thing to kind of touch the master cylinder, and then you squeeze it together. I don't know if you can see that. Hoping you can. Yeah, you see it right there? Makes a little round circle. That's a lot better than measuring. Now you can center punch that, get a number drill, check the size of the hole in the stock bars, and you can drill your hole. You may have to use a tiny little round file to get it just right, fit properly, blah, blah, blah. But that's the way I do it. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, now I'm going to drill it. Okay guys, I got the throttle side buttoned up. Did an 1/8 inch pilot hole. And then I tried all the number drill bits and they weren't right anyway. So a few thousandths over is a 3/16 common. And that works. This clamps and snugs it anyway. It's just a safety, the pin on the bottom. So 1/8 inch pilot hole, 3/16 hole. After you marked it like I showed you with the paint, center punched it. I had to use an angle drill, turn it all the way up like this to get to it. That's kind of what you have to do. It's a hassle, but anyway, the only thing I might have to do is roll this brake cable in. Everything's reaching on this side and looking nice. I'll roll this in a little bit so it just does barely touch right here. Should be good. This is what we're dealing with as far as the bar ends here. So can't use the stock ones. These bars are, you know, my bar's larger in diameter in the hole there. So I'm going to adapt the Suzuki bar end somehow with some of the expanding rubbers. Haven't got there. We'll deal with that last. Okay, now I'm going to get over to the clutch side and continue with that. Again, this switch assembly, you can knock. This is the same as the MT10. And I was able to get rid of the bump. Yeah guys, this is identical to my MT10 rip that I sold. It has a tip on it there, goes into the bar. You can completely get rid of that. Just don't file into the half round plastic of the circle here. But you can get rid of that puppy right there, because with this steel clamp that actually screws into the lower switch assembly, it is about 1 millimeter small in my handlebar, so you don't need that at all, and there's no load on this. It's just a switch. So the only real safety concern is obviously you don't want to take a chance of the throttle turning. That's why you got to do that one. So get rid of this and then we'll get this assembled. Okay guys, this is what I use on my grips. 3M black weather strip adhesive. Pretty much buy it in any auto parts store. All you got to do is put a very thin coat. I use a little coffee narrow stir stick, kind of like a popsicle stick. Smear some in there from the inside to about here, and then you wiggle it on there, and then when you put it and get it on the end, take a paper towel, wipe off any excess that's in there with some contact cleaner or brake clean just on a paper towel, and you're good to go. These fit so tight, probably don't need a darn thing, but I put a little bit on it. Okay, once you get the bars where you like them, close anyway, front to back, go ahead and lightly snug these bolts. I do the mounting bolts. I don't pinch them down with the split clamps like stock, where you bottom the front then tighten the back. Try to just do them equally. So very slowly, just eyeball the slots, the caps, clearance, front to back, work front to back, go to the other side, and then you want to take a wrench with you. I wouldn't get carried away yet. I'd only maybe snug them to about 13, 14, 15 foot-pounds at the most, because your split clamp is going to seat in there and kind of get stuck. So you don't want to over-tighten them on your first test ride, just an easy test ride. And then you can adjust them to your liking, front and back. You already did side to side, kind of eyeballed it in here. And then once you're completely satisfied with your adjustment, then do the same thing. Sneak up on it, back, front, back, front. I usually tighten my 8mm bolts like this with the clamps here to 16 to 18 foot-pounds is plenty. Make sure you use a good torque wrench. 3/8 drive is better than 1/2 drive for that low torque value. And that'll be it on that. Alright guys, I got it buttoned up. Sweet. Let me grab this. Here's our little universal bar ends that we sell. These fit inside. They're not quite as heavy, but still better than nothing. And these fit black anodized. Real simple. They're only about, I don't know, 16, 17 bucks. Something like that. And we stock these, and these fit inside the idea of my bars without having to modify them. The Suzuki ones were going to be a real pain. So what's slick is the diameter just slides right inside the grip. You don't bottom it. You push it in just till it looks nice without hitting on the throttle tube. Snug this beforehand just a little bit. Put a teeny bit of soapy water on here. Get it where you want. Tighten it with the little Allen wrench that comes with it. Look how sano. I'm really stoked. They did fit. So we're going to have this kit for the tracer. I rolled this just a little bit inward. It barely touches. You got to remember this has a clear coat on it. Got clearance here. It just barely touches. Not going to hurt a thing. Throttle snaps back. Got this all buttoned up. Same on this side. Went right inside the diameter of the heated grip. Really nice. Almost looks like it's factory. Really stoked. These look clean. They're just barely overhanging to the inside. So I just have them lightly snug now. Kind of get a good feel for it. And I'm going to go on a test drive. But man, now we got that extra. I don't know how many degrees it is, but it's probably about, oh geez, it was probably about an 1.25 inch maybe. Sweep. Going to take totally the load off the wrist. They're approximately, I think, about 1/4 inch taller. They are about 5/8 of an inch narrower, like just under 29, 28 and some change, compared to the stock bars are 29.5 or something like that, close. So still plenty of leverage, but man, these things feel so good. I'm so stoked that they fit. I'm sure when I go full lock, it's going to touch on the tank bag, but tons of clearance under here. You got plenty of adjustment now. I have them kind of rolled forward already a little bit. Okay, so you got plenty of room to be kind of tipped up just a little, and then the more you go, these are going to hit. But they're rubber; it won't really hurt it. But you can also roll them down towards you a little bit, and they're not going to, the bend I put in this allows you to do quite a bit of rotation without them pointing down here like a board tracker. These bars are really sweet. So I'm going to get on a test ride, and all my camera mounts off of here didn't work. It's just too long of a shot, too much vibration no matter what I did. I spent like 5 hours making a second with total failure. So this screen is really sturdy. I got it stuck on here. Don't even think I need this safety, but I'm going to do it. And I have it kind of just wedged right against our little piece of tape. And we'll see how that does. So I'm going to go for a test ride. Right on. Well, there's the Holeshot Sport Touring Tracer 900 handlebar kit. Okay guys, I'm back. I know I said this is the end, but I wanted to chime back in just for a minute here. I just went on about a 15-mile test ride, and the bars are stellar. I did a couple little adjustments, and just awesome. The reason I wanted to come back is, around 70, 73 miles an hour, the mirrors are buzzy, right? And anyway, huge noticeable difference. It's the buzz on the mirrors, and the fuzziness is almost gone. I went up to about 85 and they're still fairly clear, where before, because the stock bars sitting on the bench over there are aluminum, super lightweight, they must not absorb the vibration near as much as my steel bars. And so that was kind of cool. So I wanted to come back and tell you that even with the fairly lightweight bar ends I put on, The mirrors are much better. You can grab it like this, and you used to be able to grab it, and then the fuzziness would kind of go away because you're being a bar end away. You could feel it. Still feel it now, but boy, cleared up the mirrors. Really cool. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and got any questions about these bars, call the shop. It won't be on my website. My website's old. Sooner or later there will, but got to call the shop, okay? 775-463-5394. Thanks, guys.